Just kidding, that's not the thumbnail, but I'm going to show you how to make a great one right now. Hey, what's up? Trevor here, Hollywood editor turned full-time realtor and video coach. On this channel, I teach realtors and entrepreneurs to grow their businesses using video. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button right down there and whack the bell so you're sure to catch my future content. Also, while you're at it, go ahead and give me a thumbs up for my self-esteem. I could use a lift. Thanks. One of the very most important things you can do to get your videos clicked on and watched so you can generate more business is to create a compelling thumbnail. I recently went to Vid Summit, which featured a bunch of very successful YouTube creators, and I saw a guy there named Mr. B speak, and he's got millions of subscribers, gets millions of views on every one of his videos, and one thing he spends a lot of time on is his thumbnail. Now, by default, if you don't upload a custom thumbnail, YouTube will choose it for you, and it will not work. It will not get your video clicked. The two very most important factors to get your video clicked are the title, and I've got a video about that right there, and a compelling thumbnail. If you have an awesome title and awesome thumbnail, your video will get clicked on more, which will increase your click-through rate. That's the percentage of people that click on your thumbnail so they can watch your video out of every 100 that see it on YouTube, somewhere where YouTube shows your thumbnail and title. If you don't know how to see your click-through rate, I have a video about YouTube analytics right up here you should check out after watching this video. You want to get your click-through rate somewhere between 4 and 10%. Higher is better. If you can go over 10%, that's amazing. But it should be at least 4%. If you see that you have a click-through rate under 4% for any of your videos, chances are your title and thumbnail could use some updating. There are a number of programs you can use to make awesome thumbnails. I personally use Photoshop. Canva is super popular and super easy to use, and that's what I'm going to show you how to use in just a second here. But I'm going to give you some tips that apply no matter what your niche is, no matter what software you're using. These are things you should be doing with every thumbnail to increase the odds of them getting clicked. Number one, you should plan your thumbnail. You should think about your thumbnail before you even record the video. You should take a photograph for your thumbnail before you start recording the video. You can have somebody take a photo for you. You can take the photo with your camera, or you could do what I usually do, which is I simply freeze and create a few thumbnails at the beginning of my video. I'll freeze, make a couple expressions, options, faces, something that could be used as a thumbnail. I'll try like 5 or 10 things, and I will choose the best one to use as a thumbnail by grabbing a still image of that image from my video. I used to forget about my thumbnails and have to grab a random still frame, and that isn't gonna work nearly as well. Try to find a shot when you're talking where your mouth isn't half open, your eyes aren't half shut. It's best to just pause, take a freeze frame, and then grab that still in your editing software after and use that for your thumbnail. One thing you might want to consider is sticking a note to your lens cap that says, "Take thumbnail," so you don't forget to take a thumbnail at the beginning of every video. Studies have shown that the thumbnails that do the best are thumbnails of expressive faces, animated faces. Wow! Oh! Do something expressive. Yeah, it might look a little bit cheesy. Whatever, man. You got to get people to click. You've got to increase their curiosity. Number 3, if you do use text, and text can be very effective, you should use big font and only a few words, probably 3 to 4 words max in big readable font, because when people see thumbnails, especially on their phones, they're going to be very tiny, so only big words are going to be readable. Next, you want your text to be complementary to the title, but not have the same words as the title. You want it to be enticing and teasable. The title should have a searchable keyword phrase in it, and the thumbnail should have something very enticing, a little bit teasy, that's gonna make them click. It can be a little clickbaity, but by clickbaity, I mean something that's gonna make them wanna click, but then you have to deliver in the video. If you think one of these tips so far is gonna help, go ahead and give me that thumbs up. That'd really make my day. Thanks. Next, you want your face to be big. If you're way back here and nobody can see what you're doing, unless you're doing something super animated and expressive, it's not gonna work. You can't see your face because remember, thumbnails are small. You wanna have your face right in there. Sometimes you can have your face taking up an entire half of the screen like this, or like this. Next, you want to make sure that your face is on the right side of the screen. And by the right side of the screen, I mean on literally the right side of the screen when you are staring at the thumbnail. So in my case, I would move over here, and now my face is on the right of the screen. Dude, I hope so, because the camera flips it. You want your face on the right of the screen so you can have the text on the left of the screen so that when YouTube puts the time code in there, when you look at a thumbnail on YouTube, there's a time code there in the bottom right of the screen, and you want that to be like, around my shirt level or whatever down here instead of covering the text. So you gotta make sure that your face is on the correct side of the screen so that YouTube's time code doesn't cover it up. Next, you want to make sure that the thumbnail is bright and vibrant, really vibrant colors. You can tweak the thumbnail in a number of applications, whether on your computer or phone, but just make it super bright. Are you creating custom thumbnails right now? Let me know in the comments below if you are. Just say yes or no. And if you are making custom thumbnails, let me know what software you're using. The next thing you want to do is make it sharp. And by sharp, I mean overly focused. Because it's so small, to make it readable what your expression is, you want it to be overly focused. So you can sharpen it a little bit, and you can do that again with a number of applications on either your phone or on your desktop computer. I use Photoshop for my thumbnails, and I use a filter called Unsharp Mask, and I adjust the sharpening until it gets a little bit too sharp. When it's big, it looks a little too sharp, but when it's tiny, it looks just right. Those tips work no matter what software you are using. You should make a custom thumbnail for every single one of your videos. And if you have videos that are not performing well, they have low click-through rate, you should go back and redo those thumbnails. It's not too late. It's going to help, I promise. In fact, some people spend as much time on their thumbnails as they do on their videos. What does that tell you? And some of these people are very successful on YouTube. Now let me show you how to create an awesome thumbnail using a free program on the internet called Canva. Before we jump into Canva, let's look at some examples of good YouTube thumbnails. Now let's start with a quick search. Let's try real estate video marketing for realtors. Under that search term, here's the first one. That's me. Notice what I've got here. I've got big text. If I roll over to start to play, I've got big text, big letters, and just 3 words. And usually I have a face. In this case, I showed an injection thinking that would get interest, and that kind of works. I think a face would have been better. And notice that my colors, they contrast with most other people's colors. Now my buddy Mike Sherrard has a video right here, which he uses the same colors as me. He's the purple realtor. So I use purple and pink. He uses purple, so it stands out. But look how good that looks. Look at Sean Cannell, a video from a couple years ago. He has a few more words, but he's made the words stand out by putting a black background on them. Here's another Mike Sherrard video. Notice big face, big words, big face, big words. Here's another one of mine. Notice how the purple stands out. Well, me and Mike both. Notice how the purple stands out over other videos. Here's another one of mine. Big words, big face. That is what works best. Now let me show you examples of a couple guys that I like. Now again, I have no design skills whatsoever, so I just look at people that inspire me and I try to do something similar if I like what they do. One guy that does great stuff is Brian G. Johnson, and let's just go to his channel actually. You can see with his videos that he tries things. Now if I sort by clicking videos here, I'll be able to see his videos in order. And notice he doesn't do real consistent colors. Some people want to have their branding look good, so they do consistent colors with every thumbnail, but he tries different things to see what works. And notice he's tried some cool stuff here. He's got big, bright, different colors, colors that are different from YouTube. YouTube is black, white, and red. So if you've got colors that are contrasting with that, you're going to stand out against YouTube's colors. And here he's got more of a typical thing. Big face, big words. Big face, big words, right? And then trying these contrasting colors here that are a little bit different than normal. Then trying a cooler vibe. So he's trying things. That's another way you can go. He has great thumbnails. Notice he's got the background with the words. This stuff works, gets the views. Another guy whose channel I love is Nick Nimmin, and he has great thumbnails as well. Check this out. I'll click on his videos, and look what he's got. Big expressive face, big words. That is what works. Let's go to one more, my friend Karen Carr. Now, I actually hit her up the other day. I'm like, who's making your thumbnails? They're great. She's doing them. And to my knowledge, she's still doing them with Canva. So you can do some killer stuff with Canva. Let's click on videos. Her stuff is great, man. Big words, big face. Big words, expressive face. Big words, expressive face. She's trying different things. Look at that expressive face, big emoji. You don't have to use words with your thumbnails. Now let's go to my channel, which is right here. And you'll see that I'm pretty consistent with the colors, but you'll see I've tried different things. I tried some 3D text here. I've tried using just a face when it wasn't mine. You get somebody like that. You get Christopher Hemsworth in there, and you know, people might click. And actually, that one worked. Look at it, 93,000 views. Maybe because I've got Chris Hemsworth and no text. So sometimes no text works. And scroll down here, you'll see that I had kind of a different vibe going on before, and I tried new things. Let me click on video so you can see kind of things in order. And here's lately what I've been doing. I'm kind of copying a little bit what Nick Nimmin does, where I have big readable text, just a few words with a little background behind it to make it more readable and more punchy. And I've been cutting my face out more lately because it stands out a little bit more. And down here I tried this with no face, just words. And down here I had a different vibe, different fonts, different feel to my videos. And so I just changed it up a little bit and see what works. So in the beginning, this was the look I went for. I had somebody create a template for me with this very readable text, and I would just throw my face in there and modify each one. Find something you like and make your own version of it. Remember, good artists copy, great artists steal. Don't completely rip off other people's thumbnails, but be inspired by them and create your own version. Hey, if you're a little bit stuck getting started with video, I totally understand. And to hook you up, I've made a free webinar here at videosecretswebinar.com. You should totally check it out after watching this video. Here's the link, videosecretswebinar.com, and there's also a link for it down below in the description and pinned in the first comment. So be sure to check that out. Now let's jump into Canva. Once you create an account, I'm not going to show you how to create an account. Once you create an account, you log in and it looks like this. You can see all of your designs, things you've done in the past right here, and you can see all of your folders here to see what you may have purchased, trash, all that junk. If you got rid of something, you want to get it back. And recommended for you, they give you a bunch of recommended designs here. What is great with Canva is that you can use one of their existing templates. Now I'm going to click on social media right here, and I'm going to choose YouTube thumbnail. Click on that, and boom, it's going to give me a bunch of templates that I can choose from, all in different categories. So I can see a template that I like and just use that, or I can start from scratch. Let's go ahead and choose a template and work from that. If you have no design skills like me, using a template is great. Here's a pretty great template. It's probably not exactly my vibe for my channel, but we have a great photo with a tight image of a face, and we have big font, and we have bright stripes behind the text. So what we can do is tweak this out. Now I'm not going to use this photo because that's not me. So I'm going to double click on it and just hit delete, and that goes away. I need to bring in my own photo. How do I do that? I simply go to uploads over here on the left, and I can use one of my existing photos that I've already uploaded, or I can click on upload an image or video, and it went right to my graphics folder. So let's go thumbnail secrets. Do we want that one? Let's use this one. Now I can take this photo after it uploads and just drag it over here. And boom, it fills it in. Now notice that it is behind some things, but not everything. I'll show you how to fix that in a minute. But right now, my face, it's kind of wide, right? I want it to be much tighter. So I'm going to click and drag on the corners. I'm going to move it down here to give me a bunch of room. And I click and drag on the corners till I can get a big picture of my face right over here. And then boom, now I can even make it tighter. And to get to the corners, you just kind of have to drag it over a little bit. So I'm going to just click and drag this even bigger so I have a big face over here. And boom, that's big enough. Stupid face, but whatever. Now I need this to be all the way in the background. So I'm just going to right click on it and choose send to back. And now I've got this text, which isn't what I want to say. I want to say something like unknown thumbnail secrets. And now I just click and I drag it in place. To resize it, I can just go down like this, or I can take this background, and when you can't click on something, just move this out of the way so I can click on this, and now I can scale this up a little bit bigger, move it over that way, put this up here, and then boom, I've got unknown thumbnail secrets right there. Pretty readable. It needs to be a little smaller so it fits on there a little better. Let's change this. Now I'm gonna adjust the line height a little bit here so it lines up a little bit better. And now I can do this, and it lines up pretty good, right? And next I'm gonna change the color of this background. Now, since I can't get to it because this is in the way, I'll just move this out of the way, and I'll click on that. And up here in the top left, I have color. So I can click on this, and I can choose a color that's more consistent with my brand. I click on new color and go over into the zone of purpleness. and find one that's pretty close to my colors. Boom, that's closer to me. And this makes this very, very readable. Now I can spend more time tweaking with it, but that's pretty close. Unknown thumbnail secrets. And notice that it goes into my face a little. I can click on my face and double click and just move it over a little bit more even still. And up at the top, I just hit done. And boom, unknown thumbnail secrets. Now I've got a stylized thumbnail that could work great for my channel. Now, one thing that I told you to do is to make your face brighter and sharper and more vibrant. And luckily, Canva lets you do that too. So I'm going to click on my face and go over here to adjust. And I've got these settings here. So let's go ahead and make it not more blurry, but rather less blurry. So that'll sharpen it a little bit and make it stand out a little bit more. And here all big, it doesn't look great, but as a smaller thumbnail, it'll be more readable. And then I want it to be maybe a little bit brighter so it stands out more, maybe a little more contrast, and maybe a little more saturation. And again, it's not going to look great as a big thumbnail. I look like I'm in pain, but when it's smaller, it'll look fine. And when I'm done, I just click anywhere else and boom. That is pretty much all there is to it. Everything is pretty self-explanatory in here. Anything you click on becomes pretty apparent what you do next. And if I want to scale it manually, remember I move things out of the way. So I got lots of room and I make it bigger like that. And I can have a much bigger face just like that. Boom. And to get this to fit the screen again, I would just click here and hit fit. As I look at this thumbnail, I'm thinking this is not the one I'm going to use for my video. Now let's go ahead and download this one. Then I'll show you how to create one from scratch really quickly. Let's hit download, and PNG or JPEG is great. So we'll just use a PNG. Now in the free version, you get a 1280 by 720 thumbnail, which is fine. That is the size YouTube recommends. With the paid version, you get a few more options, but the free version is probably all you need, especially if you're just starting out. And I just hit download. It prepares my design. And boom, my video is downloaded to my desktop. That's it. To create a version from scratch, I just go over to Home. I want to create one from scratch, so I'm going to go back to Templates, just click on Templates, and I do want it to be a YouTube thumbnail, so right here I'm going to click on YouTube Thumbnails again, and this is going to make sure that I have the correct size, the correct proportions, aspect ratio for it. So I just hit create a blank YouTube thumbnail, click on that guy, and now I have a blank canvas. I need a photo to start with, so let's go over here to my uploads. Let's use my other photo. This is the one that you probably saw as my thumbnail. I'm just going to click and drag that one here. And I'm going to scale this down so I have plenty of room to work. Scale it down to 25%. And I'm going to click and drag and make my face really big here. And that's not bad, right? Big face. And I just hit anywhere else around it and it accepts it. So I click and that's good. I want to scale this up again so I can work on it. So I'll hit fit. And let's go ahead and work on my face a little bit. When I click on the image, I have this adjust setting available again. I hit adjust, and again, let's go ahead and sharpen it a tiny bit. Makes the eyes pop a little more. Let's bump up the saturation a little bit, bump up the contrast maybe a tiny bit so it stands out more. Again, it's not beautiful like this, but it's going to be more readable and a little bit brighter when it's a tiny little thumbnail. That's maybe a little more saturation. And then boom, looks significantly obnoxious, right? And next I want text. How do I add text? I simply hit text and I will choose add a heading because I want big text, and I'm going to go thumbnail, enter secrets, exclamation point. What don't I like? It's black, it's not readable. So I highlight all of it. I can just click and drag, highlight all of it, click on this color, text color thing up here, and I'm just going to make it white because white works great. Now, if I don't like the font, I can choose another font. Right now it's using Open Sans Extra, but I just want something that's big and bold and readable. So you can scroll down and choose a font that you like. They have a lot of fonts to choose from. One thing you might want to do is find a font you like and use it consistently. Anton's pretty bold. That's pretty readable. I use actually Impact when I create my thumbnails in Photoshop, and I use that because it is so readable. Readability is key. People want to get stylish and use all these tiny little cursive things. Nobody can read them. Yeah, it looks cool and stylish, but readability is huge. It's more important than being all stylish. Look at Mr. Beast's thumbnails. There's nothing stylish about them. Now I want this text to be much bigger, obviously, so I'll scale it up, make it big, click and drag.
It's a little bit too big, so I'm going to scale down a little bit. Let's go to maybe 120. There's a couple ways to do everything. And now because the background has white in it, I can't see that. And these are a little farther apart than I'd like, so I'm just going to adjust this a little bit, which is the line height. I'm going to bring it a little bit closer. Actually, got to drag this out. And everything just click and drag, and everything is super self-explanatory. Click on line height again. I'm going to make it a little tighter because I like it a little tighter. And I'm going to change the centering to left justified. Now it's left justified, and that kind of works better for me. Actually, let's make it right justified, because see how my face goes like this? The secrets could be over there. Let's make it right justified. There we go. And just drag it back over here. That works great. Now the one thing that is not great is I can't read this. So I want to make a block behind this, a background, to make this more readable. See how it's not readable now? I will simply click on Elements, and I want basically a square that I can adjust. I'm going to click on this guy, drag it over here, and just shape it how I want it, right? Boom, boom. It's like, oh no, it's blocking my text. What do? I just right click on it and I choose send backward. It's going to go back one layer deep, and boom, there it is. And that's ugly. It's not my color. What do? I just click it. Then I click on the color on the top left and I choose a new color. So let's go over to the land of purples. My color, need a little deeper. Right around there is pretty close to mine. Thumbnail, secrets. I want two of these backgrounds, so what do? I click on it, and if I hold down the Option key on a Mac or the Alt key on a PC, I can click and drag down, it'll duplicate that. It's like magic, look at that. Now, that's okay, but what if this was a different color? That might be better. So I'm going to click on this guy, not that. Okay, see how the text is in the way? So I can go over here where the text isn't in the way. Click on it. Click on this color and choose something that's sort of like the pinkish color I have on my channel. Go this way a bit and something like that. That is not a bad thumbnail for 2 minutes in Canva. It's got big readable text, big expressive face, boom, done. All I do is hit download, choose download, and it downloads my design, and now I can upload that to YouTube.
For awesome tips on optimizing your YouTube channel to get more views, more subscribers, and more business, click on that video right up there. If you want to see the video that YouTube thinks you should watch, check that one out right there. See how well they know you. Remember to hit that subscribe button, which is probably right around here somewhere, so you don't miss out on future content. I cannot wait to see your incredible YouTube videos that I click on because of those amazing thumbnails.